Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness. And please excuse me, I'm not feeling well, but I press on, and the show must go on, as Queen would say. But we are not here to talk about Queen today. We are here to talk about Bob Dylan, specifically the film A Complete Unknown, starring Timothy Chalamet. Before I get to that, however, a reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel or unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Despite the fact that I am unable to walk whatsoever, in addition to being unable to use any other type of power chair, or even a standard wheelchair for that matter, as I only have limited dexterity in one hand. In addition to that, I do not have a backup scooter or wheelchair to rely on at the current time. So if my scooter does malfunction as it did a few months ago, I will yet again be a fish out of water, a scenario I want to avoid at all costs. With that stated, you will the title of this video in the description, as well as in a separate section below the information pertaining to this video itself. You can find a spot fund link. It is a fundraiser. It is easy to contribute. It takes a few seconds. Any and all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. Even $5 or $10 can make all the difference in the world, and you can even contribute anonymously. Purpose of the fundraiser is to both continue the ongoing refurbishing of my existing scooter at this point in time, as well as to save for a new scooter as well. That way, I am never in a situation once again where I am without my independence. A few months ago, when my battery charging mechanism failed, I had to rely on family and friends for roughly 2 weeks to push me around in my scooter, and it severely limited my independence. But it was also a long overdue wake up call that I need a backup plan, and the backup plan is to have a brand new scooter to use all day, every day, in my everyday life, and my completely existing refurbished scooter waiting in the wings to be used if necessary, when necessary, whenever possible. So please do what you can. I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. Thank you all. I love you all. If you are not yet subscribed to Media Awareness, please consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of the Media Awareness family. I'd love to have you. And if you do so, click the bell icon. That way you're notified every time I upload something new. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts on this film. If you can put them in the comment section below, you're more than welcome to. I'd love to read them and again respond. And you're also welcome to contact me via my Facebook link in the description for more personal dialogue, or via my email address also in the description as well. There's also the Amazon Media Awareness wish list, where you can pick and choose items for me to review, unbox, etc. Currently, this film is actually sitting on the Amazon Media Awareness wish list, along with the Bob Dylan biopic No Direction Home, which I'm going to be referencing throughout this video as well. So, um, I wanted to see this film in theater a few months ago. I didn't have the opportunity, and now that I've seen it, I'm really kicking myself for not making more of an effort to see this in the theater, as it was really impressive. Um, it's probably the most accurate and the best biopic I have seen on a musician and or musical act ever. Um, I mean that sincerely. I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody. I've seen Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic. I've also seen uh, the Buddy Holly story years ago, which was, in my opinion, probably the greatest at that point in time. Of course, there's the Jen and Dean story. There are so many music biopics out there. The Beach Boys, Brian Wilson. Um, but this film really, really captured the true essence of who Bob Dylan was and is, and um, the whole 1960s scene at that point in time. And I watched the film a few days ago online, and I very rapidly added it to the wish list. And I decided to do a cross reference between that and No Direction Home, which was the Bob Dylan biopic done several years ago, because it focused on the same time frame, essentially, uh, for the most part. And the accuracy is really terrifyingly uh, amazing, to be perfectly honest. Uh, After less than 5 minutes of watching A Complete Unknown, you are sucked into the world of Bob Dylan, and you don't look at Timothy Chalamet as Timothy Chalamet. You look at him as Bob Dylan as if you're watching the actual events unfold, which you are. So it really does its job in terms of immersing you in that world. Now, I do want to point out that there are some musical differences in A Complete Unknown as opposed to when the songs were actually recorded for some of them and are written. But aside from that, I mean, the film itself is really just amazing. It follows Bob Dylan from his arrival in New York, um, uh, and it has him meeting Woody Guthrie, one of his idols, and really just capturing that whole feeling that Dylan had at that point in time, which was this sort of secretive personality, this um, enigmatic figure that wrote these incredible songs. And initially, we see a lot of uh, the people he meets, which are all accurate as far as I can tell. And it also chronicles his sort of uh, admiring and also uh, quite constructive criticism of Joan Baez quite well as well. Uh, to her face, which is something that she pointed out in No Direction Home as well, that he did not hold back when it came to showing how he felt. And whether it was on stage or off stage, he would just tell it like it was. And it did not shy away from showing that in this film either. Now, it's basically, we're chronicling Dylan's rise as a folk singer and his switch to uh, electric music, or shall we say rock and roll. And it's a really divisive topic at that point in time amongst the folk scene crowd. They do not want to hear rock and roll, and they're really quite appalled by it. And Dylan was getting bored doing what he was doing. He wanted to branch out. He wanted to expand his creative palette, if you will, and venture into new territory. And you see that unfold. You see him calling up and his manager and saying, "Listen, I want real musicians in the studio, the best that you can get." And he rambles it off, and you get his side of the conversation, and you can hear that there is some resistance on the part of management, but you can also hear that Bob is the one calling the shots. And it goes through the different stages of his career, and it also shows that he was the type of person that had no qualms about just walking around downtown New York without any kind of security, without any fanfare. He would just walk around and talk to people, and you know, go places. And it's a really natural look at the life of someone who has become legendary. And it's fascinating. Um, the film itself primarily focuses, like I said, on Dylan's rise to fame as a folk singer and his transition into electric music, or rock and roll. And he has put out one album by that point in time that was electric and partially acoustic, from what I can recall. And he had also written several songs for several other acts as well that were getting a lot of notoriety, including Joan Baez. He gave her several songs actually. But when they were on tour together, just him and Joan Baez, you could see the cracks of the folk singer coming. You could see it all unraveling on stage, even with him performing with Joan Baez. And the fact that he is sick of playing some of these songs that people want to hear, and the people came to see him play. He wants to do something new, something different, something unexpected, and you really have to admire that, and it's hard not to when you see this film. And his joy and his enthusiasm in the studio working with these incredible musicians. When you see that, it also really, really is quite moving because he's happy and he's doing what he loves. And there is a romance, a story attached to this as well. Um, and it plays a role in the film. It doesn't really affect his overall view on music or his stage presence or anything like that. It's more of just something he was going through at that point in time that uh, needed to be shown in the film as well because it happened. And uh, the sort of animosity between um, uh, his lover and um, his relationship with Joan Baez on stage. It's almost um, overwhelming, if nothing else. It really is overwhelming at one point. Um, and this is toward the end of the film where it becomes that way, really. And by that point, uh, Dylan is scheduled to close the folk festival. He is the closing act. Um, and he has no plans on really playing anything folk related, it would seem. He goes out there with an electric guitar and just goes right into Maggie's farm, and um, the crowd is split. They are really divided. Some are throwing things at him on stage. Some are getting into it and really enjoying it. And it kind of illustrates the shift in consciousness at that point in time as well. From the point of view of these people who were at the right place at the right time and the right moment was happening for them. And, you know, Dylan just happened to be the person to bring that change to them, really. So it's a really moving film. It's inspiring as well. Um, and despite some people's negative reaction at the folk festival to his new music, you see the people that really are enjoying it, and you can't help but feel that enjoyment for Bob as well. And I really have to say it parallels the documentary No Direction Home, like I said, quite well. There are some notable differences. I'm not certain how accurate Dylan's friendship was with Johnny Cash and how close they became, if at all. But there is definite admiration expressed for Woody Guthrie all throughout the film. and more so towards the beginning, but still it prevails throughout, and it's a great it's a great film. I can't I can't say enough good things about it. Timothy Chalamet becomes Bob Dylan, and every casting choice is just right on the nose. And the performances are very accurate and really, really quite um, impressive. Um, and considering Timothy, Timothy Chalamet is really singing. Um, he's not miming to Dylan. It's it's impressive. Um, so from a musical standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, even if you're not a Bob Dylan fan, this film is really a film that you should see. It really carries with it an incredible message that really, if you believe in what you're doing, um, people are going to respect you at some point in time, eventually. And if you work hard enough at it, it's going to happen. So, check out A Complete Unknown. It's currently streaming on Hulu. It's also available on obviously all formats: Blu-ray, digital download, DVD, and it is a work of art, and I'm just beyond impressed with it. And also, if you become as curious as I was, uh, take a look at No Direction Home as well. Um, as the similarities between that documentary and this film are just uncanny. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I will be back soon. However, in the meantime, have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.